It is now in order to consider amendment number 90, printed in Part A of House Report 118-261. For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will please designate the amendment.
Amendment number 90, printed in Part A of House Report number 118-261, offered by Mr. Gaetz of Florida.
Pursuant to House Resolution 838, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Gaetz, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is an eclectic attraction in my district in Northwest Florida. It's called Crab Island, but it's actually not an island at all. It's a sandbar where people go and enjoy swimming, snorkeling, fishing, maybe a refreshment, or even a hot dog or boiled peanuts. Right now we have a system with our local governments and our state government working in concert to manage Crab Island. It's all going really well, and my amendment would prohibit the Department of Interior for playing perhaps an excessive role in the management of commercial services. It's a wonderful place, and as we say in the South, y'all come. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. For what purpose does the gentlelady from Maine seek recognition?
I claim time in opposition.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate my colleague's invitation for us all to come visit. I'm sure it is a wonderful place. And of course, being from Maine, we like anything that has the word crab in the title. But unfortunately, this amendment blocks the National Park Service from complying with the 1998 Concessions Act, which sets up the framework for evaluating commercial services in parks. It stops the Park Service being able to complete its existing process to remain in compliance with the Act. The amendment would effectively grandfather in all permit holders from the prior year, regardless of whether the services are necessary and appropriate. The amendment also limits the National Park Service's ability to ensure public safety of commercial services. Currently, all vendors undergo public health, fire, and permit condition inspections throughout an operating season. These inspections have documented significant concerns, such as food being cooked, held, or served at temperatures or conditions that do not meet public health standards, refueling processes that place workers and patrons at risk, lack of basic safety and fire protection, and operating in violation of permit conditions. The amendment eliminates the ability to manage the issuance of a permit based on current or past performance, which creates conditions that place workers, visitors, and park resources at risk from some commercial services. I urge my colleagues to reject this amendment, and I yield back my time.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the gentlelady's great interest in what's going on in Florida. Though we don't know each other well, I can only assume that if there were a small patch of land in Maine, I would be highly deferential as to what a local community in that congressional district might think about it, and I would inform the House that I have a resolution from the city of Destin where they speak to some of these concerns, but instead reflect on the value of the existing state and local cooperation to achieve those safer objectives. And with all due respect to the Concessions Act of 1998, which I'm sure we would never want to violate the sanctity of, the result of what the Department of Interior is trying to do in my community is going to put a lot of mom and pop local businesses out of business, and instead it's going to constrain this to a federal contracting requirement that no one in our community believes is going to enhance safety, but instead is going to limit the ability of folks to be able to enjoy the park in the manner in which they're doing safely now. So that's why I would ask for adoption of the amendment, and I would yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Florida. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.